We're Jonathan and Jennifer. Welcome to Well Traveled Life.
We're going to take you to Stockton Heath and into the village of Appleton Thorn. When we left you in our last video, we were leaving Oxford after rediscovering Jennifer's old house that she lived in when she was in college. Today we're heading north on the M6 towards Warrington. We stopped in Appleton Thorn, a small village.
We stayed in a private home, which is kind of unusual for us.
Yeah, we don't usually rent just a room in a home, but this was a really nice ensuite room with Ian and Steve in a lovely house, and they had an electric charger in their front yard, which was sort of the nice part of that for us.
Yeah, so a shout out to Ian and Steve. We really loved talking to you. Enjoyed your dog.
Cassie.
Cassie was so sweet.
So precious.
Really loved you.
It was really great at this point to be in a home with people. Steve was working and he's off in Manchester most of the day, but he'd come home in the evenings and we'd get a chance to visit. But Ian was such good company and really gave us great pointers. And I think for us, in this particular circumstance, it really was great to have a host right there and accessible. We'll go ahead and put a link to their space in the description.
I think a highlight to me that first night was walking through this very common thing in England, which was you had these public rights-of-way, they're walking paths, and it started off like walking down some roads, or sidewalks, and then quickly just kind of goes cross country and you're going along somebody's property. And we walked to this pub, the Thorn Inn. I had fish and chips. We had a local beer. That was really great that night.
I think one of the things that was interesting to me this time is we really started to learn a little bit about pubs and free houses, community halls, village halls, that sort of thing. So we're going to talk more about that in future videos. But in this one, you will see that we go to a private pub, a free house, and we go to a cask marquee pub in Stockton Heath the next day, which means that they are selling their beers. It's a pub owned by the brewery and they're selling their beers.
Right. We like both.
We do.
Yeah.
As long as you like the brewer of the beer,
Yeah, it was a nice town to walk around. We had a choice of restaurants. We did visit several just to kind of test the waters, and we picked an Indian restaurant.
Yeah.
And that just turned out to be a magnificent choice. I really liked that place.
Yeah.
The staff was great. The food was just amazing. Explained all the different dishes, and that was really nice.
We were staying in this particular area because it was equidistant from Manchester and from Liverpool. So which did we decide to go do?
Neither. As I recall, we laid in bed and talked, and we worked on some videos probably, and did some other things. And I think ultimately just felt like we wanted to stay in these smaller towns at least at that point of the trip, and just experience that. And so we ended up going to Stockton Heath and walking that town, and it was actually recommended to us by Ian, who said it was a great little town with lots of restaurant choices, which turned out to be the case.
I think Ian was suggesting we go to Knutsford, which we didn't do that either. But Knutsford was the wrong direction. Knutsford was south of us, and we'd already just come up from the south. So we're saving Knutsford for next time.
Yeah, I would say Stockton Heath, it was a nice town, like not a tourist town by any means. Not, it had some older buildings. It had some areas that looked, that probably had seen better days, but it had some interesting buildings as well. And it did have a couple of streets with great restaurants on it, and found a couple of good restaurants. So
for our stay in Applecross, which is just outside of Warrington, we were taking the footpath to head up to the local inn, the Thorn Inn, for a little local beer and some dinner. How cool is it that you would have a 1 mile footpath from your doorstep to your local pub? Our walk took us by cute houses in a well-marked area on a wooded path with beautiful vistas over wide open spaces. that took us into the village of Appleton Thorn. In this series in Great Britain, you're going to find that we go out of our way to actually avoid large cities and really try and concentrate on some small villages. And part of that is just because of the rich tapestry of village life. So here in Appleton Thorn, you have the St. Cross Church, and right next door to it is the Appleton Thorn Village Hall. The Village Hall is a membership building that allowed the community to purchase the building and operate it. They rent it out for special events. It's a venue, but it's also a pub in the evening. So it's open Thursday through Sunday to its members. We unfortunately were not there on one of those nights, and so we ended up at the Thorn Inn, which is a chef and brewer pub restaurant. And I'm sure equally good, but there is just something special about a village hall that operates as the heart of the community. Appleton Thorn has a very special celebration. Bombing the Thorn occurs on Saturday nearest to Midsummer's Day, the third Saturday in June. Bombing relates to the decorating of the thorn tree in the village with ribbons, after which the children from year 6 sing the bombing song and dance around it. And according to legend, the hawthorn at Appleton Thorn grew from a cutting of the holy thorn at Glastonbury, which was itself said to have sprung from the staff of Joseph of Arimathea. But let's get to a quick beer tasting. Here's our take on what we had at the Thorn Inn.
I am drinking an English pale ale called Old Speckled Hen. Quite lovely.
If you know me in beer, I don't do IPAs. I might do this IPA. It's a Green King IPA, which is a local beer here in the UK, and it's darker than a lot of the IPAs I'm used to, and I'm not offended by the taste. And even maybe better, I'm kind of liking it. I think I liked it better than Jonathan's Old Speckled Hen. Go figure. Stockton Heath is right on the river, and it's a great walking town. We also found some fun shopping, a very cool beer garden, and a wonderful Indian restaurant. After a walk around town and a visit to the old church in the center, we crossed over the river, visited some shops, and ended up at the Red Lion, which is Aithwaite's pub.
There's your own book. Thank you. And there's your original.
So I think this just makes me realize how much my taste in beer has changed over time. And where I really had to get used to this flavor when I was young. This is a fairly mild beer and would be what I would today call kind of an easy drinker. So it's not like a light lager, that kind of easy drinker, but it doesn't have any strong flavors that are either especially good or especially bad. But that's how much my taste has changed, because I really had to work at drinking this when I was younger. After tasting and scoring the amber and the original bitter, we then blind tasted to see if we could tell a difference.
Well, that's the bitter.
I can't tell the difference anymore.
Really? Oh, one of them is
Creamy.
pretty. You really can't tell the difference?
This one looks creamier, but I actually like the taste of it better now. And I didn't at the beginning. I liked the bitter better. I thought it was milder. Well, I guess I failed the blind tasting, but off we went in search of more of town. We ended up having dinner at Cardamom Indian Restaurant. We'll walk you through the menu and our choices because it was fabulous. So this papadum is like this crisp, fried, very thin bread, like a cracker almost. And you fill it with these sauces, and it's pickled onion with a mango sauce. I don't know what this one is, but I love it, and I think it has lemon. Then this one is the spicy one. I'm combining all of them. Best thing yet. We ordered this set meal for 2, which included papadum with the relishes, a choice of 2 starters. We got 2 main courses, and then we also had sides like Bombay potatoes and rice with naan. We are sharing this menu because it is so comprehensive and there was so much good stuff on it. It's like that whole first page was all just starters. So there were just so many options and so many things to try. And for those who worry about spice levels, they've even taken that into account and included non-spicy in kids' food. Because of its colonial history, England has some of the best Indian food outside of India. But we also wanted to bring your attention to our favorite part of the menu, which was the cooking styles. You get to select your protein or vegetable and the sauce you want.
I ordered chicken tikka masala. I'm having it over some rice with some spicy potatoes, and it's amazing.
With the balti, it's cooked in a burner style, but it's got a bounty paste, a bounty flavour to it, which the chefs have to put onto it.
We have a paneer tikka, which is going to be paneer, the cheese, with lots of sauteed onions and tomatoes. And then this is an onion bhaja, which is a little bit like an onion pakora. And then obviously we have salad greens. This is like an onion pakora. It's called onion bhaja here, so it's just a different name for it. But it's like a fried onion, and then I think they saute them in spices. Not spicy at all. Easy to eat. Very good.
Onion bhaji, was it?
It's an onion bhaji.
Onion bhaji. So you call it onion pakora. This restaurant is a South Indian restaurant. Okay, so I'm in South India, I think, because I was born and brought up here, so I don't know. But in South India, I think it's a bit more spicier. But obviously we've got mild dishes on the menu as well. We've got mild options as well.
I got the paneer.
Garlic burner. All the main curries. The base is a burner style. So they start off with a burner style. Then if it's balti, they add the balti spice to it. If it's the jalfrezi, they add the additional stuff for the jalfrezi. So always they start off with the burner style in most of the dishes. The home cooking is totally different.
Okay.
Because it's more in the restaurant. Even though it's a restaurant, you're sat down, you still have to do it within a certain time. So it has to be fast. So at home, they cook it for a bigger amount for the whole family. But the restaurant is different because we have to prepare it before, sort of half cook it, then you just, Because obviously chicken and meat, it takes a long time just to, cook it from fresh.
Catch us next time where we are heading out to the Lake District. We will be in not even a town, not a village. We'll be in a hamlet, but it's beautiful and you'll love it. Yeah. Hello. Hold on, is that 2 fish and chips in a row for dinner?
I think it was.
I think it was.
I think it was. Which is kind of a theme for this whole trip. Beer, fish and chips.
Yeah, you'll see more of that.
Yeah, really. So, take some flour in my red shirt.
Sorry.
Beef?
Oh no, really?